So g'day guys. So I know in today's episode we were going to discuss bread, but given all the questions that have been sent about gold, I thought I'd tackle that instead. And keeping with the theme of cooking with commodities, did you know that you have gold in your kitchen? And no, I'm not talking about that kick-ass artichoke dip that Aunt Judy makes for all of us. I'm actually saying there is gold in some of the appliances in your kitchen. For example, did you know there is gold in here and gold in here and gold in here? And so no, there's no gold in there, but when you jump out of your kid's closet and go, whoa, that's comic gold. But because of the price of gold being so high, its use in industrial appliances is very limited. Hence why most of the demand is in jewellery or in safe haven metals. Excuse me for just 1 second while I just close the dishwasher, otherwise my wife will go completely bonkers. So if you recall when we were discussing safe haven currencies in a previous episode, when people begin to question the safety or strength of the US dollar, as has been happening in the last couple of weeks, a lot of people will say that going to a safe haven metal like gold may be a good plan B. However, how safe is gold if it can be confiscated by the government? Yes, you're all thinking, oh no, Sean's one of those weird conspiracy nut theorists. He's probably got a tinfoil hat. Speaking of which, here's one I actually made a little earlier. But it actually happened. During the Great Depression, when the stock market crashed and people who actually had some money started hoarding gold, President Roosevelt issued 2 executive orders that basically banned American citizens from holding gold and had to surrender it to the government. Part of the deal was you surrendered it, you got $20 an ounce. But in a stroke of genius, they also then passed a law, now that they've got all this gold in their possession, the federal government, that valued the gold at $35 an ounce. And hey presto, now they've got all this money to finance the New Deal programs and all the stimulus programs to get the country back on its feet. And this law banning American citizens from holding gold wasn't repealed until 1974, which is precisely the reason why something like Bitcoin was invented, because theoretically the government can't ban Bitcoin. But here's the deal. Even though they may not be able to ban Bitcoin, I guarantee you that most Western governments, and the US government in particular, is going to fight like hell to control the supply of money. And a good example of this is just think about how bitterly divided US politics has been. Could you find 3 politicians more diametrically opposed than Donald Trump, Elizabeth Warren, and Hilary Clinton? And yet, what's the one thing they all agree on? Bitcoin is a scam. And why is that? Because one of the main ways that the United States can maintain its power to respond to both a crisis of a global nature or a domestic nature is by virtue of the fact that the US dollar remains the main global currency reserve. And Bitcoin happens to be a torpedo that could bring down that house of cards. So, because of that threat, it's actually going to be very interesting to see who is going to prevail. So in the spirit of this very revolutionary type of motif, we're going to continue this concept next week when we discuss bread and revolution. And so until then, folks, it's sayonara from me.